everyone, my name is Georgiana and today I'm going to be doing a video showing you how I transition and refresh my day look into an evening look. So if you're going from work or day activities and into the evening, you don't have time, or if you're like me and you just don't want to take off your makeup and reapply to refresh, these are little tips and shortcuts that I use when I am on the go or just feeling lazy. So to start, I basically have already done my face, but over the course of the day you can see that I am starting to get some oil in my T-zone. So the first thing that I do before I do anything else is just to take a little tissue and blot those areas that are showing up with a little extra oil. You don't want to rub, and you just want to press and hold. I try to get my whole face, but I tend to focus especially on my T-zone. These little corners around either side of your nose, I feel like oil tends to gather in that area. And then my eyelids, because I'm going to be applying some eyeshadow and I want to make sure that there's really no oil on my eyes because I don't want that eyeshadow to slip. Okay, so once you've gotten all the oil off your face, you're looking a little fresher. I like to then take some of my Hydra Fusion Replenishing Serum and I just squirt very little, just like half a squirt, just sort of pat it onto my skin. I like to do this because I feel like it kind of gives my skin a more refreshed look. And you could put this on top of makeup during the day, but you just want to make sure that you remove the oil first. And if you have oily skin, I find that if my skin is dry, my skin will just produce more oil. So by adding the moisture from Hydra Fusion, that hydrating power, I can kind of trick my skin into thinking it's oily so that it doesn't produce even more oil. You want to then come in and color correct or add any extra products that you want to use on your skin. For me, I feel like I need a little bit more concealer under my eyes, so I'm going to be taking my Cashmere Complexion Concealer in the color Waffle, and I'm gonna just apply that under my eyes so I can get a little added coverage under there and get back any makeup that might have slipped during the day. And this is gonna vary for other people. Maybe you want to fill in some lines, darkness, any hyperpigmentation. I always have some scars over here that I want to get a little bit. And today I'm actually going to be using a little bit more lighter colors. So next I'm going to take my Cashmere Complexion Foundation in the lighter shade Sugar, and I'm also going to apply that on top of my eyelids. So again, this will create a base for my eyeshadow that I'm going to be using, but it's also going to help brighten my eyes and brighten whatever colors I'm going to be using on my eyes so that those shades kind of pop against my skin. I don't want them to sink into my skin tone. Once that's on, I'm just going to take my beauty blender. This is the beauty blender I used this morning, and I'm just going to gently go in around my eyes and sort of lightly press that concealer in. Again, not too heavy-handed because you don't want to take away product, you want to add it in on top. So I kind of want it a little bit softer under my brows. I don't want a harsh line, so I just use my sponge to blend that out at the edges to make a softer transition. Little side note, if you want that concealer to be a little more intense, don't blend it out right away, kind of let it sit, and then you can either apply another layer on top to make it more what's the word, I should say less transparent, more intense, and then you can get your color on top. So I just sort of soften out the edges. You can see I have a big distinction between my natural skin tone and the color above my eye, so I can get that really bright shade on top of that without it getting muddy. So once that's sort of blended out, I kind of just let it sit so that it dries, because when I put the powder on top, I don't want it to be blending into the liquid. And I'm gonna start off with a very light shade at the top of my eye, above the crease, more closer to the brow bone. And the color I'm going to be using is Berry Love number 2 from the Multicolor Finish eyeshadow quad. And I'm gonna sort of zoom in a little so you can get a better look at what I'm doing, because I want it to be more pink than sugar cream concealer colored. But as you can see, this color is very, very soft, like barely there, almost nothing, which is why I find that I have to use a lighter shade concealer, otherwise it just will not show at all. And you kind of have to cake it on there. And can you see the difference? This is more deeper color than here, and this is a little more pink than the concealer alone. So for me, using this shade is essentially like almost like using a white. It's like the next shade up from just using a white across my eyelid to be a base for the next color, but it's not a stark white. It looks a little more natural. Same on the next eye, just sort of getting that powder in on top of my concealer, setting my concealer, locking it in place, making sure there's no oil. So I think also using a powder as a base also kind of gives the opportunity for me to blend my colors, the next colors that I'm going to be using, without sort of disrupting that concealer that I have on the bottom. And you can see I'm kind of just pressing it on top. I'm not rubbing, I'm just getting that color on top of my concealer. Think of it like when you bake your face, you're sort of just baking the area above your eyes. This is the Monopop eyeshadow palette. I've been using this palette a lot because I love that coppery red color in it. But the color that I'm going to be using here is this shade right here. And I'm just going to use that color because I just want a slightly richer peach, and not right up to my eyebrow, but right above my crease, focusing right above my crease, like in the joint of my eye socket right here. The width of the brush will sort of blend it up towards the eyebrow bone a little bit more, so you get a little transition. It almost looks as if I'm adding my skin tone back in over the eyeshadow, just like a slightly peachier version of my skin tone. But you can see, like, if I did this without concealer and without a base powder, this color would just disappear. Just using a soft windshield wiper motion to blend it in, and letting the brush just naturally blend it out into the color above. The next shade I'm going to be using is from the Purple Pop eyeshadow quad number 3. And I'm going to be using a slightly pointier eyeshadow brush with a little taper because I really want to get it into the sockets. And just go in right below my eye socket and work that color in. So you can see there's like a gradient effect, a very light pink, then that peachy color, and then the purple color just right in the crease. But I like the tapered brush because I can kind of get it right underneath the socket a little better than the other fluffy brush. But I'm using a bigger brush because I want it to blend. I don't just want a harsh line right now. You could see that I had my eyeliner on, and I'm kind of just ignoring it at this point. We're gonna come back in later on to add that color back in, but right now it's blending out into whatever eyeshadow I'm using to deepen the color. So I don't mind that it's there. These colors are very light, so having a little bit of darkness from the eyeliner doesn't hurt at all. Just sort of intensifying this outer V. They called it that because it kind of makes a little V at the end of your eye. Another thing I like about this brush is that it's kind of long, so I could do my entire eyelid while just while I'm focusing in the crease. My whole eyelid kind of gets some color. So now I'm going to take my next color, which is also from Purple Pop. This is number 4. You can see I use this color a lot. It's a really great color in my opinion for when you want to define your creases or in your corners. So I'm going to take a little bit of Purple Pop number 4. This is the concealer brush from the Avon Pro line, but I like to use it for when I need a thin line in my eyeshadow. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to apply it right in the crease. And then I want to follow my eye socket, but I don't want it in this part of the eye socket. I don't want it to mess up my lighter colors above, so I just want to come in right here. And just to take my light brush, I just want to dust away any darkness that's happening in here. Any of that darker shade, we don't want that. I love a cat eye, so I'm just sort of bringing mine out a little bit. It's looking a little messy, but that's okay, we're gonna clean it up. Next I want to take a clean, fluffy brush, and I want to take another color that I've really been liking from the Model Pop eyeshadow palette. That's this cold shade right here. And I want to apply it right in the center of my eyelid, on top of the purple, just going in the middle. It's a really nice shimmery shade. And I'm going from the socket down to my lash line, basically just like the width of the brush. And then again in this inner corner here, just a little bit more in the lower inner corner than the upper inner corner. So you kind of want to blend from the bottom up. And coming back in, I want to just get some more purple underneath my eye. So using that very small brush, I'm going to just take a little bit of purple and like really close to my inner lash line, just get a little bit of that color. This shade of peach, this one right here, kind of want to use that shade to make this transition between the gold and the purple. I kind of just want that purple to stay right in that inner crease, so I'm just using this color to keep the darker purple a little higher up. Now my line, my wing, which has completely disappeared right now, I'm just gonna come back in and add that back in this area here. Take that wing all the way out. I always find that adding a little bit of eyeliner really brings together whatever colors you have going on in your eyes. No matter how crazy the colors look, this black line across them kind of ties them all in together again. So it kind of just brings it all together. Here it's still kind of a jumble. Here it feels a little more structured. Now you guys can see I have all of that fallout under here. I'm just gonna take all of that off. But just make sure not to disturb the colors that are under your eyes because you want to keep those. Okay. Sorry guys, the camera cut out and I lost you for a second there, but I basically just finished applying my concealer on either eye. And you can let it sit for a little while to set if you want that full coverage. And then I'm gonna again just take my beauty blender, my kind of damp beauty blender, and use it to kind of clean up these lines. If you want to use a brush for more precision, you can too. I like it like when I want to get this corner underneath the wing. And then if you have any other areas of your face that you need to concealer, or if you need to apply more foundation, you can. You don't have to. My cheeks are a problem area for oil, and this foundation does mattify, so I like to use it, the Cashmere Complexion foundation. And it also will help transition from that lighter shade under my eyes and mattify at the same time. Just to finish up my eyes, I'm gonna take my brow definer. This is a Glimmer Sticks brow defining pencil, and I'm just going to fill in my brows and define them a little bit more. Can you guys see the difference between a done brow and a not done brow? How it kind of just brings your whole eye look together versus when your brow is kind of, you know, not as defined. So two things for me that are must-haves to complete my eyeshadow look are a very defined eyeliner and a very defined brow. So you can get a dramatic evening look without using very dark colors. So I'm just gonna finish this brow, and I kind of just wrinkle my face so I can get this corner here so that I know where to stop. So it makes it easier. I look crazy completely, but it makes it easier to follow. And I just take my brow brush, the spoolie side of my brow brush, and brush my brows up and out. It helps blend the brow pencil into my skin a little better so that the lines aren't harsh. Just gonna take a little powder. I still have some True Color Ideal Flawless loose powder. I love this stuff so much. I can't stop using it. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that powder on my sponge, and especially in these areas where I'm prone to oil, I'm just gonna get that powder in there to absorb any excess oil and set my concealer that was under my eyes. I'm just gonna push that powder in. If you have a really oily T-zone like I do, you can really get that powder in so to make sure it absorbs any excess oil, but just be sure to dust it off when you're finished. Now that that's on, I'm gonna let that sit for a bit before I do my blush, but I want to take this time to just add some lashes. All right, now that my lashes are on, last but not least, just gonna dust off any excess powder. Now that my makeup is set, I'm looking matte. And then I'm gonna add in some blush. I love the new Colors of Love Kiss Me Cushion blush. It gives a beautiful watercolor effect that just highlights your cheekbones, and you don't have to use a lot of it. So I just take the sponge and take it from me. I am that person, first try. I was actually on a live video. I pushed it in to absorb all this color, but you really just need to do a quick pat, and then pat on that color. But the color it gives you is so subtle. Oops, I did it again. The color is subtle and beautiful, and really really looks natural, but you have to resist the urge to really push the sponge in there, which I'm still learning to do. Bright side is, if you get too much on, you can always take your beauty blender and blend it out. And the Colors of Love collection now also has a really nice highlighter as well, and the sponge stores right inside. So I just like this cute little thing. You've got your color in here, close that up, put your sponge, close the whole thing down. Cute little travel compact. Now that I'm matte, I just feel like I need a little bit of shimmer here, and on my cheeks. Just a little bit of volume, right? There. And ladies and gentlemen, little hairspray, little holding spray, and we're done. Are we? No, something feels like it's missing. Can't be completely done without some lip color. I have been loving this Birthday Balm. It's super hydrating, and you get a nice intense color that you could build or blend, and it doesn't feel like you have lipstick on. So now I think we're done. What do you guys think? So this is my day to evening look, how I transition without having to take off all of my makeup and start all over again. You guys can see I cheated a lot, and I kind of feel my way around. I pick the colors that I want to use. I see how they work well together. Nothing is perfect. You kind of just have fun with it. But it's makeup, so if you mess it up, if you don't like it, you can always just wipe it off and start again. But at least it'll save you some time in having to start from, you know, completely from scratch. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you guys are inspired to go out and try new things, different colors, and different ways of wearing the colors that you've always been using. There's a lot of great ways to experiment and have fun with the colors that we do have. Mix palettes, mix colors, and have fun with it. All right guys, thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Bye.